morning, if that's okay. And this is a blessing over you and your family. Hello, YouTube Live. This is Carmen, the creator of Redefining Widowhood. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the replay of this video. You can learn more about what I have going on here via redefiningwidowhood.com. A little bit about me. I was widowed at the age of 38. I started doing YouTube videos, kind of ranting and getting out my feelings, and it turned into this community and this movement. And shortly after, I learned that I was on the path that God wanted me to be on. And shortly after that, I became a certified life coach. So I am a life coach for widows and also women who have experienced different types of grief and loss and that want to learn how to live again and how to create a joyful life after great pain. So that's a little bit about me. You can learn more and get on my email list via redefiningwidowhood.com. I also have the link in the description box where you can learn a little bit more about my coaching services because I'm now accepting new coaching clients. So the title of this video says, "You are a different person after widowhood." You are a different person after widowhood. So I am 3 years out on this journey. I'm a little over 3 years out on the journey of widowhood. And I feel like it's been a lifetime since I suddenly became widowed. But I was thinking today, like somebody reached out to me about some writing services because at my core, I am a teacher, I'm a writer, I'm a creator, and I consider coaching as teaching. So someone reached out to me about writing, how much I would charge them for a particular writing service. And I was just thinking about how my gift of writing is something that I put down and I've never fully pursued. And then it just took me back to the beginning of my journey of widowhood, like just being sidelined by sudden widowhood and then going through the fog of it, because the first year was just literally like a fog. Like, is this real? Is this our life? Like, am I having to raise these kids by myself? Like, what is going on? And then for me, year 2 was my year of rediscovering and redefining my identity of like who I was. So during that year, that second year is when I really came to the realization that I'm a completely different person than I was before I became widowed. Like, I'm no longer his wife. I'm no longer a married mom, because as much as we may want to deny it, there's a certain level of esteem that comes along with, oh, I'm a wife and I have children, you know. I remember when I first got married, I couldn't wait to change my status on Facebook, like, oh my God, I'm married. So it's a certain level of esteem of like, I'm married and I have children. So when you no longer have that, like you have the children, but you're not married anymore, you don't have your life partner, like you go through this whole rediscovery of like, who am I? Like, I'm no longer a wife. I'm no longer the person who I was before I even met him. Like, who am I? So I literally had to go through this journey. And 3 years down the line, I'm realizing that I'm still on a continual journey of really rediscovering who I am. And God, he's still doing a work in me, but over the past 3 years, he's had to do some major work in me just to awaken me to the realization that I don't have to, or I'm not supposed to, like attach my identity to the title of wife, or the identity of, oh, I'm a married mother, or oh, even a widow. God had to deal with me on just attaching my identity so closely to being widowed. So I learned that this is a continual journey of rediscovering who it is that you are. Because when I was no longer a wife, like I grabbed so tightly to that identity of widow, like, oh, I'm a widow. And it was like, some people in the beginning, like they shy away from that word and it's like, don't call me that at all. But for me, I was the exact opposite. Like the first post that I put out on Facebook the morning after my late husband passed away, I used the word widow. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a widow at the age of 38. So I kind of grabbed a hold of the word and I held tightly to it. And it got to the point to where one day last year in my quiet time with the Lord, he was like, you're holding on too tightly to that word and that status of widow. Like, that's not your identity. That's not who I called you to be. I did not give you that title. So it's been a constant journey of rediscovering, like, okay, what did I like to do? Like, for the longest time, I went through this period of like, what did I like to do before I even became married? What did I like to do in the beginning when I got married? Like, what was I doing before I got married? Like, on the video yesterday, I talked about how before my husband passed away, I was doing video marketing, talking about branding and internet marketing. And when he passed away, like, I had to get all of my feelings out. So I started recording videos, and I did talk about branding and marketing. I just wanted to talk about, like, I had to get everything out. So I went through this phase of like, well, I still enjoy doing video marketing, but I don't want to talk about branding and marketing. I still enjoy writing. So I channeled that into my book that I published in 2020. And in my previous life, I was an elementary school teacher, which I feel like when I'm on video, it's like my virtual classroom as well. But I had to constantly go through these cycles of like, okay, who am I? What do I like to do? And it all boiled down to God simply just assuring me and grounding me in the fact that my identity lies in Christ. I am a daughter of the Most High God, first and foremost. So when I was able to grab hold of that reality of like, okay, I'm a daughter of God, first and foremost, it kind of released a little bit of pressure of me feeling like I had to hold so tightly to widow. Like, I needed everybody to know that I was a widow. I needed everybody to know, like, hey, I had a husband, and I'm not a single mom, because in different cultures, in my culture, there's like a I don't even know if it's a stigma or a stereotype, but there can be an assumption that a woman of color with, children, oh, she's just a single mom. That's just the reality for them. So I worked so hard to be married and to provide a household for my children that have had both parents in it. So I think when that was suddenly taken away from me, I held so tightly to like, well, I need to make sure that I let people know that I'm a widow, so that they know that, I wasn't just another single mom. So just going through the motions of just grabbing a hold to all these different identities and titles that we place on ourselves that are not really who we are. So God had to walk me through a journey of like, you're my daughter. Like, at your highest and at your lowest, you are my daughter, and that is enough. So for you guys watching this, or who you're gonna catch it on the replay, just know that like you're a totally different person when you become widowed, and you're gonna have to go through a journey of like discovering like who you are. But I just want to let you know that you don't have to attach yourself, or you don't have to feel esteemed, or you don't have to feel less than because of whatever title that society tries to bring upon you, or whatever type of title that you're holding tightly. Like, you're a daughter of God. Yes, something harsh and unusual happened to us, but we are daughters of God. So I think when you start there, like, okay, I'm a daughter of God, like that's my identity, then you can kind of go on the journey of like, okay, what do I like to do? What do I want to do in this season? So if you are in a season now where you've kind of gone through the fog, and you're in the space of like, okay, this is really my life. I'm a completely different person. I'm not married anymore. I don't necessarily feel single, because I had a whole husband before, but I need to figure out like, what am I doing with my life now? Like, what do I like to do? What do I enjoy to do? So I would encourage you to really think about like, okay, what are some of the things that I'd like to do before my husband passed away? What are some of the hobbies that, I was pursuing before he passed away? And I know it may be hard to continue doing things that you did with your spouse. So I would encourage you to think about some things that you like to do just individually. Like, think about some things that you like to do. Like, for me, I had to go all the way back and think about like, what did I like to do before I was married, or before I was even a mom? Because that's a whole nother layer. Like, when you have children, like, you can get lost in marriage and motherhood. And that's exactly where I was at before my late husband passed away. Like, I was lost in marriage and motherhood. And then when he passed away, it was like the bottom fell out. And I was like, I really don't know who the hell I am now. So for me, the journey of self-discovery was so, so deep, but I had to go back far. Like, what did I like to do before I even started dating him, before I got married? What did I like to do before I even had children? Like, so you can start there in terms of rediscovering who you are. Think about the things that you that you like to do just as an individual. Like, what do you like to do as Carmen, not as mom, not as Zach's wife, not as Zach's widow. That was my late husband's name, Zachariah, but we called him Zach. Like, what do I like to do as Carmen? And even as I was going through grief therapy, like my grief therapist, I remember one of our last sessions, she was asking me, like, how are you doing? And of course I'm like mentioning the kids, my girls, and she's like, no, Carmen, like, I'm not asking you about your children. Like, I'm glad your children are well. How are you doing? So you're going to have to get to a space of like, okay, what do I like to do? What do I enjoy to do? What is going to help me to heal on this journey, regardless of, trying to be super mom to the kids and trying to not make other people around you feel uncomfortable. Like, what do I like to do? So I would encourage you to take out a sheet of paper and be like, what do I like to do outside of the kids? What do I like to do outside of my job and my career? You can start there first, and then you can think about some of the things that you may have put down because you became married with children. Because a lot of times as women, we want to be everything to everybody. We put down our dreams and our goals and our aspirations. You may have wanted to go to school and you didn't finish your degree, or you may have wanted to get a certification and you kind of put it to the wayside. So I think that would help you if you are at a place of like, okay, I've gone through the fog. Now I want to begin the journey of living again and rediscovering who I am. Those are my tips for you to just really think about some hobbies that you enjoyed before everything happened that don't include other people. What are some things that you may have put down, some goals and some achievements that you didn't do? And then lastly, something that you can do, think about some new hobbies that you may want to try. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, but I lived in Georgia for 14 years before my husband passed away. Like, I moved to Georgia when I was 25, and I was there until my late husband passed away. But when I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, like, we never went to the beach. The only time we went to the beach was when we were clubbing or going to restaurants. So something new that I discovered after my husband passed away is that I really love the beach, like the actual sand and the water part of the beach. So that's that I enjoy doing. So those are my tips for you. If you're at a place to where you want to rediscover who you are, you want to redefine your identity separate from widowhood, separate from the pain and the loss and the grief and everything that happened. Those are my tips for you to start your journey. So thank you for those of you who are hanging out with me live. That is my video for this evening. It's my goal to continue to show up live in the evening and also in the morning to work on connecting more with you all, because I really want to build community and tribe in this year and in this season. So thanks for hanging out with me. If you are not on my email list, make sure you become a part of my email list. If you are at a place in your journey where you feel like you are ready for some coaching, some life coaching, to figure some things out, to redefine your identity and to find and create a pathway for joy, I would love to see if we are a fit to coach together. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those of you who catch this on the replay, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.